question, I would like you to elaborate on the idea of awakening and spreading awareness among the military and police force. I would like to know the possible solutions you've come up with for accomplishing this. This is a sensitive question. I commented a few times on issues regarding the military and police, or any type of establishment, the security of the establishment, so to speak. I think most understand that the police department really isn't there to protect the individual public. They're there to protect the rich from the public, generally speaking, and so is the National Guard. And the military serves a larger order to protect the establishment, a broad scheme of a particular country. As long as these protection elements are in place, we are in a lot of trouble because that's really all the establishment really has. The establishment is very small, really, when it comes down to it, but they have this massive arsenal of weapons to keep the public and other countries at bay, and to, of course, have the aggressor nations and do what they want and have their way with the world. The U.S., of course, the largest culprit of this historically. So what I would say is my approach, and I'm still pondering this, is making another film. Making a film and calling it something like To Our Armed Forces. And first of all, you have to communicate to them that they've been nothing but abused by this establishment. Vaccines, experiments. The U.S. Army has been essentially a ground for experimentation for many, many, many decades. And it's atrocious. You have all these very sick Iraq vets that are back now, not to mention just the general trauma they go through post-traumatic stress disorder. The suicide rate is unbelievable, but they have these issues from all these strange experimental vaccines that they've been enduring. I think if you went back historically and communicated to the armed forces and the police how much they're abused by this system, how much they're taken for granted, how much the 25% of the homeless population are vets, I think that would be an initial starting point. So you ask them, what are they fighting for? What are they trying to preserve, and how does it benefit them? I think if they knew of an alternative, such as the Venus Project, they would shift their perspective. They would begin to see what they're doing is not for the welfare or betterment of themselves or the people. And they're coming at it from the wrong angle, and they need to start reevaluating what their values are and what they actually care to express and care to protect. And they should really be protecting a larger integrity of the social system. So that's a general approach. That's a very complex thing to address, but I do stand behind the statement regarding that all the establishment has really are its military officials. And that's not that, I have no advocation of violence towards anybody or the establishment or anybody in the armed forces at all. I would hope that they would come to terms and feel embarrassed by their position. That's a good word. You'd want to make them feel embarrassed by what they support, embarrassed because they wear these medals, and you ask them why, what does it represent to you, and how does that help anything? How does that help your family? How does that help your grandkids, So anyway, I hope that answers your question. Communication, and I might make a film regarding that, or I might do something in some way to try and communicate with the police and armed forces. Very important on some level.